music. Shutterstock music.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Derek Thomas. Welcome to Black College Experience. This is the start of season 2 of Black College Experience. And guess what, ladies and gentlemen? I have the founder of Black College Experience on with me, Keisha Kelly. What's going on, Kels?
It is great to be back. I was sitting here thinking it's only like us to come back into season 2, to come back off of a couple of weeks off. And what do? We jump straight in the saddle and we bring on none other than Tuskegee's head coach, Willie Slater, which will be on in the second half. Only we would do something like that. Don't take a break. Don't come back to get it together. We come straight back in with a championship coach. Like I said, again, that will be on in the second half. But how has your time off been?
It's been fun. I'm still been working because, as you know, HBCU sports never sleeps. We've been having plenty of news while we've been off from the podcast, and we've been just posting the stories on Twitter, and you do the good work on Instagram. I mean, it's basically been chomping a bit like, man, we should have been on this weekend. We had plenty of stuff to talk about, But it's good to be back. Football season has started. We did have 3 HBCUs in action, which we'll talk about a little later. I'm just glad that football season, Kels, is here. All of the bragging rights, all the talk is going to be settled on the football field.
It is. It's our favorite time of the year. It's super exciting, and it's one of those things, no matter how many sports we cover, I think we all just have our favorites, and one of those things that we grasp towards. And it's a lot of things that, it's been a lot of upsets. And the one thing that's been really great is even in this off season, we've got a chance to, take a look at some of the guys that have come out of HBCUs, and we got a chance to see what they're doing as a possibility of making this 53-man roster. So
right.
I guess that's where we'll start. We'll start there if you want to go ahead there.
Right. Of course, we all know one of our sticking points is riding for our HBCU athletes to get chances at the pro level in the NFL. And while there are more people on this list than we're reporting on, we're rooting for every NFL hopeful from an HBCU. Starting out first, and I love his nickname, the Louisiana Pimp Dog, Danny Johnson out of Southern University. On the season, Danny has 6 tackles. He has 2 punt returns and of an average of 11.5 yards. He would have had a forced fumble, but the referee blew the whistle. The Redskins are going young at corner. They released veteran Orlando Scandrick. He's since signed by Chiefs. But for the Redskins to release a veteran, this bodes well for Danny's chances of making the Redskins roster. Now, Danny's your SU alum. I know you watched every game. Talk about his performance.
Well, I think that I probably missed the last one, but I did see the first one, and of course, we're some of those people, and this is just a HBCU bias, not even just Danny. You're thinking like, okay, why didn't you get this call, or you should have gave him this, or why did you not call this? But to actually see, I saw your, the 6 tackles. I saw what you were talking about. And, it does something for you, because I'm a rewinder. I DVR stuff, and then I rewind it, and I watch it again and again. And it's almost as if the person is right there playing with you. But it's so amazing, the energy that transfers from me as a person to say, okay, we know these people, if that makes sense, to actually say we see people that we actually know playing this game and have the potential of making these rosters. And this is the first time in a long time that I feel really good that a lot of these guys are going to make the roster.
Right. And to run down the list, the Redskins signed several HBCU prospects as free agents. The next one up, Darvin Kidsey, wide receiver at Texas Southern. His preseason stats are 2 receptions for 26 yards, 2 kick returns for 14.5 yards. And, while it's a long shot for Kizzy to make the team, he's still auditioning for chances to make other teams. I hope he can stay with the Redskins because he has a veteran quarterback throwing to him. And if he's open, Alex Smith will find him. And, he's been showing good speed and also run after the catch ability. So what do you think about Darvin's preseason performance so far?
Darvin Kizzy is one of my favorites. I actually captured a video of him last week. And I mean, he got some pretty good yardage. And like you said, it's a long stretch. He's one of those people that I really look forward to as well, making the Redskins team. I just can't say this enough about the Redskins. Just with Doug Williams being in the position that he's in, being that Doug Williams is the seat at the table, as I like to call it. It just puts HBCU athletes in a great position. It puts these athletes in a great place. And, I think it's giving them more opportunities to display their talent. And with him being that person in that position, being able to pull those guys in, I think it's just a great thing. So hopefully him as well, hopefully something will shake out. Now, we got to talk about Martez Carter. We can't go without talking about Martez.
Most definitely.
Go ahead.
Well, yeah, Martez Carter missed the excitement from starting running back for Grambling. Had a pretty good preseason so far. 7 carries, 45 yards. The game I watched, he was breaking tackles, and he was on his way to a touchdown before he got tackled. But the Redskins released him due to an injury. Hopefully he can bounce back and continue, focusing on joining a pro team. It would be nice for the Redskins to sign him to the practice squad because we know the Redskins have had some injuries at running back. They lost Darius Geis, Chris Thompson's injured. They signed Adrian Peterson, but he's not going to be able to play too much longer. It would be nice for the Redskins to, once Martez recovers from his injury, to sign him to the practice squad. So what do you think about how the Redskins handled this situation and Martez Carter's preseason performance before he got injured?
I think it was a little premature, in my personal opinion. I didn't really expect, even like you said, you've had situations where you've had things like that happen. So I think It was a little bit premature.
Right. I agree with you.
And I didn't really think, I didn't even realize that they had released him until he said, he was thanking, the Redskins. And I'm like, wait, what happened? Like, literally, we go from, you're here, you're making these big plays to, okay, the next thing is you're thanking them like the very next day. And then it's when it all starts to link, okay, like, you got the injuries. And I think that's the difference is, it's all political. The difference is, we know as athletes, being that you're trying to make a roster, being a rookie versus being a veteran, it's a totally different thing. So I do. I hope, again, you said the right thing. I hope that they would consider putting him on the practice squad because he's going to be a force to be reckoned with. He's going to be something great to watch.
Right. I mean, he has to tell you, when you watch his burst, I was like, wow, Carter is really doing well. But speaking of another running back doing well, busting out the seams, I know did you see this clip of Delance Turner's 67-yard touchdown run up the middle and outrunning?
I have to go back and watch it, but Delance he's been performing the last couple of weeks. So he's been performing the last couple of games.
It was a thing of beauty. I mean, hey, we all know all Alcorn fans were watching that game. And in our social media groups, we know all Alcorn fans posted that video to the groups as well as other fans did. It was a beautiful run. So far on the season, Delance has 9 carries for 92 yards and 1 touchdown, one being that 67-yard burst up the middle. I'm hoping he gets a chance to make the Ravens, because the Ravens have a history of taking chances on lesser known backs. And, it would be nice if he got a chance to continue to showcase his abilities and hopefully make this team. What you want to talk about Delance before I move on to the last HBCU prospect?
Yes, Delance Turner. I do, again, that he's another one. I did get a chance to meet him while I was in Virginia. of course, at the HBCU Bowl, and I mean, I've seen what he did. He was one of those. I mean, he might have won a defensive player or something. I think of the game, but I think he might be one of the top people that has the possibility of making that team.
Right. Well, we're gonna hope that the Lance Turner makes his squad. The last person out of the Division II HBCU, everything running back, Trenton Cannon out of Virginia State. He's with the Jets. So far for his season, he has 11 carries for 40 yards, 3 receptions for 5 yards, and 1 punt return for 1 yard. Now, the Jets, they normally employ a running back by committee approach. I'm hoping that Trenton Cannon's versatility will help him get a roster spot. He's been doing well when he carries the ball, running strong. He is a threat to catch the ball out of the backfield, and he's a threat in special teams. So when you can do multiple things on the football field, that bodes well for your chances to make the 53-man roster. So I'm hoping that the Jets, and we know the Jets need all the help they can get. You know what I'm saying? So why not let an HBCU All-Star help you rebuild your program, Kels?
I agree. I have been tuned into him. Every time I watch the Jets, I tend to think the only person I tend to think of is Trenton Cannon. And I think maybe a game or two ago during the preseason, even if on the returns, even if something goes bad back there,
right.
It's like he's the only person. For some reason, he keeps recovering the ball. For some reason, it's like he's the only person back there. So I think it's a great chance. You said that's the last person.
That's the last person I have on my list, but there are plenty of other HBCU hopefuls vying for roster spots, like Montreal Meander out of Grambling with the Browns. I just got a few of them. Some of the stat sheets weren't coming up for preseason, so the first few that I got that I could find stats for.
Yeah, let's go to the Rams. Hodge undrafted out of Prairie View. He's been making quite a few plays. His name has been buzzing, and just hoping he's one of those guys. And it's so funny because even when you're not paying attention to the TV, you'll just hear one of their last names, or you'll hear Prairie View or Southern or Grambling. You'll hear somebody's name, and then you just automatically look up and you're like, oh, okay, that's who that was. But yeah, he had a great catch for a 47-yard gain on it looks like on last week on August 18th. So again, these guys, it's a lot of buzz. Even with the Colts going on with the Raiders, all these guys are making a lot of good plays. So let's take a commercial break and let's come back to this.
All right, we'll be right back with more Black College Experience.
I already knew that I was going to go to college, from a young age. I definitely want to major in political science. After that, I'm going to get my law degree. Then I'm going to come back to Detroit, boost the economy, become the mayor or something, try to make the situation better for other people. I feel like I owe it to the city. I'm determined. It's going to happen. My name is Justin, and I am your dividend.
All right, we're back with more Black College Experience, and we do have a caller on the line. And I know that 662 area code out of Indianola. That's my line brother, Patrick Perry. What's going on, PP? How you doing?
I'm making a lot of, personal stuff, but, I'm just happy the football season started.
Yeah, we are too. That's what we were just saying. We're excited that football season is here, and we're having our first show. This is our first show of the new season. And we're just glad that, football season is here, that hopefully our Delta Devils will be to get a few more wins that we've been getting. And we're going to talk about the new coaches coming up soon as well, because we know we have one of the new young coaches in the SWAC. Kels, you want to go there for right now?
Yes, we can go there. That's fine. Go ahead.
All right. So, like we were just saying, of course, at the end of every football season, there's evaluations done. Or there's new job offers, offered. And firings, hirings, I want to take my talents here. Well, there were numerous new head coaches who got fired or resigned, and their replacements had to be named. And just running down the list, plenty of new head coaches making their debuts. Some have already made their debuts. One being Eric Dooley at Prairie View, and Sam Washington at North Carolina A&T, making their debuts. And also Greg Ruffin out of Edward Waters. Those were the 3 HBCU schools in action this past weekend. But to run down the list of all the head coaches chomping at the bit to show that they were the right hires for their programs, running down the line, alphabetical order: Alabama A&M, Cornell Maynard; Alabama State, Donna Hill Ely; Allen, Independent College, Teddy Keaton; Arkansas Pine Bluff, Cedric Thomas; Delaware State, Rod Milstead; Edward Waters, Greg Ruffin; Elizabeth City State, Anthony Jones; FAMU, Willie Simmons; Hampton, Robert Prunty; Lincoln, Pennsylvania, Josh Dean; Mississippi Valley State University, Vincent Dancy; Morgan State, Ernest Jones is the interim; NCAT Valley alum, Sam Washington; NC Central, Granville Eastman, interim still; Prairie View A&M, Eric Dooley; and Virginia Union, Alvin Parker. So, a list of coaches, some with experience, some rookie head coaches, and they're chomping at the bit to get on the football field. And now that we've ran down this line, do we want to talk about the three games that we had this weekend, Kels?
We can, and I'll start with North Carolina A&T.
All right.
North Carolina A&T. First and foremost, I don't think I realized this, and this shows how much I'm just friends with people or follow people on Instagram, and sometimes I don't pay attention. I did not realize that North Carolina A&T. I realized but did not remember that North Carolina A&T's quarterback graduated. But I guess he's, still 1 year eligibility to play. So he's, right. I guess you say, grad. But last night was one of those very intense games. I don't think I've cursed so much in my life on the other side. So I felt like I was the coach. I think everybody's nerves, like we went between, like we were going back and forth. It was a very intense moment. Because the only thing I kept saying was the last quarters of the game, I was like, they cannot get sloppy and give this game away. And I think penalties is what killed it. You're talking about what I think I said 408 to 148 or 134, something like that yards. Like, look at the yardage difference. Like, that's just a total blowout, and they still managed to pull off a win. That's just insane. That's crazy.
You're right. I mean, when you look at the yards, Zarek Cooper, former All-World Clemson commit, threw for 320 yards and 2 touchdowns. Lamar Raynard threw for 111 yards and 2 touchdowns. Both had 1 pick. Both defenses were a little stingy on the ground. But you want to know what caused this game to sway in North Carolina A&T's favor? The turnovers, fumbles. Jacksonville State lost 3 fumbles, and this I think Jacksonville State was picked to win the OVH. So this is the OVH predicted conference champion. We know they're always loaded with division with FBS and Group of 5 transfers. So North Carolina A&T went in there, got a victory, and scooting on out. I mean, that is tremendous for Sam Washington. PP, did you have a chance to watch this game?
Yeah.
Were you cussing at the TV like Kels
Yeah,
was?
you want to know when that game? Yeah, you want to know when that game changed?
When
Jacksonville State, when they scored, and then they kicked the ball off, and he returned it 98 yards.
Yeah, the kickoff return.
The kickoff, they took their souls with when he returned that ball 90 yards. He didn't even get touched when he returned the ball. So, Jacksonville State was happy on the sideline, and then A&T came right back and never. They only led. Jacksonville State only led 16 seconds in the game.
Yes, and I do have it here.
Wow.
Jacksonville State was picked to win the OVA. So North Carolina A&T is the MEAC predicted champion just beat the OVH's predicted champion. So North Carolina A&T, Kels, you know, we know what they have over there. I mean, you know.
Well, you look at it, you know, Jacksonville hasn't. I think they said they beat the FCS opponent 41 times. They haven't lost.
Yeah, they have beaten 41 straight games.
This was the nail in the coffin, and it's safe to say that Coach Washington and North Carolina A&T won't be invited back to Alabama next year. Let's go ahead and just say that right now. Don't even think about getting back on the sheet. You will not be invited back next year. That was supposed to happen, of course. So, and this brings me into last season when Tennessee State played Georgia State, and the Coach Rye went out there and they beat Georgia State. That wasn't supposed to happen. So, needless to say, guess what? That ain't on the schedule again this year.
Right.
That's not supposed to happen. When those games happen and you lose and you're predicted to win and you're highly predicted to win, they probably give us like a 3% chance of winning, if even that. And then you lose, yeah.
And then the thing is, Jacksonville State had beaten North Carolina A&T the two previous times, going back from 94 to 95. So now A&T has a little bit of revenge and ending that winning streak that Jacksonville State had. And like you said, Kel, they probably won't invite them back. To try to even that season series. I'm sorry, that historic series between the two schools. I would like to see Jacksonville State visit North Carolina A&T's home field. I mean, if we can come play you at our field and beat you, well, you got to come to our house and see if you can get a win. You know, I would love to see that matchup, Kels. Love to see it.
Yeah, I think that will be a good one. I think it will be a good one. But I think, again, for that to be Coach Washington, you know, first time as head coach coming out, opening up the season like that for the Crimson Bowl, I think that was just awesome. I think that, you know, it's just, if y'all go on Tariq was talking so much noise, it was like, okay, Tariq, like, you're in the NFL now, bro, like, it's different. But it's indeed like they're all. And again, their quarterback was like, put some respect on HBCU football. It was like, we've been telling y'all that, like, this whole time. We've been telling y'all, like, just HBCU sports in general. But, yeah, they found out last night.
Yes, indeed. And the other game, and this was a game, Kels, that first off, it started out ugly. This was between the Rice Owls and the Prairie View Panthers, two head coaches making their debuts, Mike Bloom for Rice, and of course, former Grambling offensive coordinator Eric Dooley. He's a swag lifer, making his debut with Prairie View. And started out, you know, Rice was doing their thing. They were winning. I think it was 19-0. Prairie View storms back, 21 points in the second quarter. You don't normally see that from a HBCU versus an FBS squad. But, you know, Rice isn't the strongest team. Prairie View didn't care. They took a 28 to a 19 lead into the fourth quarter. And that's where it fell apart. Rice scored 12 points. Prairie View wasn't able to score any more points. And Rice won the game with a last-second field goal. Up down to the last second. Prairie View fought. 2 seconds left. Rice kicked the game-winning field goal. I would have loved to have had a gust of wind blow and knock that field goal off to the left so Prairie View could have come out of this game with a victory. Kels, I know you were watching it or keeping up with the updates on Twitter because the game was on ESPN Plus, which if you don't know, ESPN Plus is this new thing. ESPN wants people to watch certain sports events for $5. Well, they're trying to make their money off us, Kels, because this game was on there. The Jack State versus Southern Miss game is on there for next week. So they're trying to make money off us HBCU folks for us to watch our games. But what do you think about how this game ended, Kels, and just how Prairie View fought back?
I'm okay. So first of all, we're going to touch that $4.99 that they talking about. Go ahead and pay. Yeah, I'm definitely on Twitter, following the Twitter updates. I'm definitely on there cheerleading from Twitter with the rest of Prairie View. See, that's the thing. You can go on Instagram, you can go on Facebook, and they're going to be slow about putting the updates. But if you go on Twitter, you're going to get a play-by-play from everybody's team. I was getting play-by-play from North Carolina A&T, the MEAC. Like, we're just getting play-by-play. So, I'm going in there play by play, and you hit it. You very rarely see someone come from behind. When I saw that 21-19, I was like, oh, even when they went on to 28-19, I was like, oh, okay, they might pull this out. Then I realized they still had so much time. But when I saw the 28-28, I was like, how did they catch up so quick? But I really wanted them to really wanted them to pull it out. And one of the things that we have to note, we can't take anything from Prairie View. This will bounce back to North Carolina A&T as well. I can't stand when people say, oh, they were just playing Rice. They're trash. Or, oh, okay, well, North Carolina A&T act like they were playing. I had to stop people for saying that. You can't downplay somebody because I don't care if Rice just won one game or two games. Tell me which SWAC teams are going to not possibly, but most definitely beat them right now. Probably nobody. I don't care. Not possibly. I'm saying most definitely. 100% they're going to beat them. Probably nobody. Not possibly, but most definitely. So give Prairie View the credit, especially Dooley. Like, I say that they played a hell of a game.
They did.
And to lose just by 3 points is a hell of a game.
In the last second, they took Rice down to the wire, and and here's the thing, not to go back to the previous game, North Carolina A&T got their victory on a turnover. They made Zerick Woods fumble. They were driving to score to win the game or to potentially tie with a field goal, but North Carolina A&T's defense stepped up and stopped them. I wish that could have happened for Prairie View. I wish someone could have gotten a hand up to block that field goal so we possibly could have went into overtime, and possibly Jalen Morton throws another touchdown pass and defense stops Rice, and then Prairie View secures the win. But, of course, that's wishful thinking. That didn't happen. But good things come out of this game. We all know Prairie View had issues with quarterback. Projected starter Nico Hollins transferred. He then came back. McCullers was the expected starter, but I got information that he was not going to be available. Jalen Morton played the game of his life, Kills. He was 16 for 28, 244 yards, and 3 touchdowns. He also had 53 yards on 12 carries. On the ground, Prairie View was led by DeWanya Tucker. He had 10 carries for 73 yards, along with 36 yards. Now, Prairie View also lost their top 3 wide receivers last year. And Tristan Wallace steps up. He had 5 kills, count them 5 catches for 147 yards and 1 touchdown. Now, I had did a preview on this game. And, the weakest part of the Rice defense was their secondary. So if Prairie View was going to take advantage of Rice, it was going to have to be through the air, and that's exactly what they did. Exactly what they did. On the ground, though, Rice, beat up on a SWAC defensive line who, weren't returning a lot of depth. But still, Prairie View had a chance to win the game. Turnovers cost us, but I'm just glad to see that Prairie View was able to hang in there with Rice. Even though this is not a strong FBS squad, they're still an FBS squad with considerably more recruiting resources than Prairie View. And Prairie View walked in there and gave it their best shot. Prairie View is going to be good this year. I don't know if they're going to be good enough to beat Grambling. I guess we'll see how Grambling does against the FBS opponent because they play U of L next week. Hoping to go to that game, give some play-by-play. But I guess we'll see. I mean, it's just good to see HBCU schools competing with schools that they don't think we're supposed to beat. Jacksonville State lined up with, they almost beat Auburn a few years ago, lined up with NFL talent, taken out by an HBCU school. Prairie View beating up on Rice before losing in the last seconds. This is great for HBCU football, Kel. This is great for our brand. So what do you guys think about that?
I think when you have two teams, it was my hope that all three, including Edward Waters, it was my hope that all three of them win yesterday.
Right.
But being that although only North Carolina A&T pulls it out, that's fine. I think they set a standard. They set a precedent there, and it's showing that I don't care what school it is. Again, we still have to go back to 41 times, and you've never lost to an FCS school. So now that you lose, and North Carolina A&T, they keep beating people. They keep showing people. They keep showing us that, you know, they're competing with schools outside of their conferences. So, you know, they're setting standards for HBCU football, not only for the MEAC, but for conferences across the board.
I agree.
And I also think that with Prairie View, again, you know, you look at, even when they rank, you know, you talk about, you know, of course, Grambling went all the way. You know, you won throughout your season, you win by your classes, but you did have to replace a quarterback. Southern, you did have to replace a quarterback. Prairie View has a veteran quarterback. So it's going to be very interesting to see what happens this season with Prairie View.
Yeah, I'm excited to see what happens also, you know. But also you did mention Edward Waters. They did drop their first game of the year. They lost to St. Andrews 15-13. Don't have any stats in that game, but you know they were in it to win it. Losing 15-13, not a blowout. You know, Edward Waters didn't have a good team last year, so Greg Ruffin only losing his first game by 2 points leads you to think that perhaps he can, you know, get the players to execute better and just be competitive in some of the games this year. So congratulations to Greg Ruffin. Even though you didn't win, your team fought hard. And when you fight hard in a football game, that gives you a chance to potentially win the game. So
Absolutely.
So we're waiting on our guest to call in. But while we're waiting on our guest to call in, some other big news in the SWAC. Everyone knows there were some changes in our conference. You know, Dewar Sharp is no longer the commissioner. We have a new commissioner, and he is a SWAC born and bred, educated twice through HBCUs. Served as athletic director for Prairie View and Texas Southern. He's no other than a Jackson native, and also he went to my high school, Callaway High School in Jackson. Dr. Charles McClellan was named the new SWAC commissioner. He will become the 6th SWAC commissioner in league here since the conference began in 1920. He served the past 17 years at the helm of 2 SWAC member institutions, of course, Texas Southern and Prairie View, since April 2008. He was also the chairman of the Council of Presidents and Chancellors for Dr. Andrew Huggins. He thanked, he further stated, let's see here. He's done a lot, Kels. He was educated at Texas A&M for his doctorate. He graduated from Prairie View in 1993, and he also received his MBA from Prairie View in 97. I can't wait to talk to him because he's going to be on our show in a few weeks, y'all. So we're going to, like Kel says, we came back doing the bid with Coach Slater. We're doing it even bigger, having the commissioner of the SWAC as a guest on Black College Experience. So it's going to be September 9th. Dr. Charles McClellan will be our guest, and I can't wait to see what he has in store for the future of the SWAC. What do you think about Dr. McClellan being named as the commissioner to the SWAC, Kels?
Super excited. I had even met the interim. Commissioner before, and he was really nice. And I had even met Dewar. Dewar was, kind of few words, but I think, just looking at the pedigree of Dr. McClellan, it's just I say well deserved. Pretty excited, and it's as it was put. He's a workhorse, so I think that's definitely something that this conference needs.
Yes, indeed. And something else that's good too. The SWAC championship game will be returning to Birmingham, so can't wait to see how that ends. He ends up playing there. I'm pretty sure Dr. McClellan will have plenty of exciting news as he, tries to get the SWAC back to its former heyday, and also take it to the future to make it one of the most exciting conferences, not just in HBCU football, in all of football. Because, back in the day, the SWAC was more exciting than some of the FBS squads. I mean, the brand of football we had back then, Kills, you always had SWAC players being mentioned as potential high draft picks. You know what I'm saying? We always had that. And I would love to see that come back, improving our brand and, just the overall outlook of the conference. I think is going to be, enlightened by Dr. McClellan, because he was born and bred in SWAC. He went to SWAC school. He's led 2 SWAC schools, athletics departments. So, PP, what do you think about the new SWAC commissioner?
I've been hearing, what is it? His name been thrown around for a while, as far as possibly being pushed to become the SWAC commissioner. I say he's from Mississippi, of course, and just his resume, it just showed that he's capable. He has inside knowledge at 2 schools, and he's familiar with the conference. So I think that's what was needed. As far as a SWAC commissioner is concerned, somebody who is familiar with the conference and already has relationships that he's attained over the years, working at Texas Southern Prairie. So I'm really interested to see how he's going to, stabilize the SWAC again, and if he can get us back to where he was.
Exactly. I want to see it too. You know what I'm saying? It's good that the SWAC championship game is coming back. Like I said, it's going home to Birmingham. And I'm pretty sure he's been doing the rounds. And there's one thing that I think is great about him. He has been making the rounds with HBCU media outlets. He's been on several shows. So that means he's open to communicating his vision and his plan for the SWAC. And I think that's great, because you have someone, who he knows the SWAC. He has his vision, but he thinks enough to say, you know what, I'm going to come in here and let them know we finna right this ship. You know what I'm saying? And I can't wait to talk more with him, build a relationship with him, with Black College Experience going forward. You know what I'm saying? I just think that's going to be great for the conference, and just can't wait to see it. And then he went to my high school, like I said before, so that's great for me. I can say the SWAC commissioner went to my high school. Everybody can't say that, but just can't wait to see how he shapes the SWAC. Also, Texas Southern has named an interim AD in his replacement. That is Kevin Granger. He is filled as an interim. He served as TSU Athletic Operations Manager since 2008. He also has coaching experience with the Tigers, so he knows the program very well. So Texas Southern has their interim athletic director, and hopefully he will be installed as the permanent director, because it seems like he has a great love for Texas Southern. And when you have love for an institution, that means you're going to not just look at it as a job. You're going to look at it as, this is my life. This is something that I want to make sure that I build right. So it's good to see these African-American men excel in their leadership positions and move up and be able to showcase their abilities as African-American men, educated African-American men. I just think it's great. Can't wait to see how he molds Texas Southern athletic department in his own image. And let's see, up next in news, our good friends at HBCU Game Day have signed a deal with Alabama State to partner and stream the home games for the Alabama State. So the two initially teamed up to air the Black and Gold Spring Game in April, the first of its kind of HBCU football. But now they're going to, air their home games. So we'll get a chance to watch the Alabama State's home games. I think that's great. The HBCU Game Day app is available on Amazon Fire TV and Facebook. So it's going to be awesome. If you have a Fire TV or Amazon Smart TV, you can download the app. It's free from the App Store. It contains exclusive video content produced by HBCU Game Day and its contributors. So I just think that's great. That this Black-owned HBCU media network. People that Mr. Gay that we work with. He's changing the game. I mean, he's blazing a trail for all of us, and I just think it's great. Kels, talk to us about what do you think about what HBCU Game Day is doing with Alabama State.
I think that it's an awesome thing, and one of the main things, that's why I was trying to see what's going on with Coach, and I'm not really sure, but being that they kick off this season this weekend, you start with the Hornets and over in Montgomery. So this will be the first game. They'll be able to stream it, and I think they're setting a precedence. And what's happening here is when you can't get them to put you on the network, you create your own way.
Exactly.
So when you can't, they don't give you the open door, you find another door to go into. So where
Amen.
there is no opportunity, you create one. And they have not, this isn't the first, like they have streamed numerous things. They've done basketball, they've done other events, and I think it's a really great thing because in this day and age, we can all vouch for it. All three of us on this show can all vouch for it. We know things don't always go. We're sitting in our offices on a Friday, and you're saying, hey, boom, here comes a media day, or boom, here comes a SWAC basketball game or football game or whatever it is. And we all want to know what's going on when we're sitting in our office and we're trying to pull stuff up and we get that on the actual website or on the actual, network for the conference, and boom, you can't pull it up. And it's nothing more aggravating than not being able to pull up something when you're trying to see it. So I actually appreciate when you get like the Southerns or the Valleys or the Gramblers or whoever's going live from their athletic department, because at least we do get that. But when you try to go into these actual pages and you cannot pull up what you're trying to see, it is the most annoying thing ever. So for them to actually stream and actually say, we can put this on TV and you can get a good picture and you can see everything that's going on, it's awesome because we're not in those areas where we can see it all the time. I'm 8 hours away. So, it's very annoying when you can't see what you want to see.
I agree with you there, Kels, and I think it's going to be good. And the game, the broadcast crew will be Tyler Carr of HBCU Game Day, and he will be joined in the booth by former Hornet Greg Jenkins as the analyst for the 2008 season. So I'm definitely going to be watching. Who knows? Maybe we can do some games one year as we grow. Because that's what I'm doing on the side. Calling high school football games. And I had my first game that I called this past weekend, a 33-21 victory over the Murrah Mustangs in the Pride Bowl from my high school. So HBCU alums doing big things in media. We're growing. Everyone's growing. Everyone is doing their thing. And kudos to HBCU Game Day for changing the game. They provide some amazing content. And it's one of the sites that I visit and view. One of the sites that I look at outside of the work that I do myself, for HBCU News, because they are one of the leaders, I think. And we're going to catch them, though, Kels. They've been in the game a little longer than us. But, hey, sometimes when you come in the game a little later, sometimes you can catch the leader. And I got a feeling as we continue to grow, we're going to grow faster. And we're going to be able to provide our own content for our listeners and viewers and fans. But up next, we have some baseball news. Alabama A&M hires from within with its baseball coach. They have elevated its assistant coach, pitching coach, Manny Laura, has been hired as Alabama A&M's new baseball coach. And he played for Alabama A&M as a relief pitcher from 2010 to 2014. That means just 4 years ago, he was a player. 4 years after becoming a player, he became a coach. Now he's the head coach. That makes him one of the youngest coaches in the SWAC. And he's going to look to, continue the success that Alabama A&M has had. He's definitely going to, he says he's going to look to expand and improve the recruiting footprint of Alabama A&M. So, He says we want to thank Andrew Hugging, athletic director, for trusting him to lead the program. He said being a former player, this program here is important to him. So his strategic plan is to focus on recruiting, like I said before, and player development. That's awesome. He also plans to continue Alabama A&M's trend of playing a strong non-conference schedule to prepare the Bulldogs for conference play. So congratulations to Manny and Laura. Gonna be try to reach out to him once baseball season comes around. To have him as a guest on the show, because it's good to see a young man get a chance to coach at his alma mater, not just be a part of the staff, but also be the head man. So we're gonna be wishing him that he has a success in building the program in his own image. So also, let's see what we got. Something else. Jumping over to the MEAC, we all know that owning your home headquarters is something that not many of our conferences can say that they can do. But there's one conference that can claim that they own their building. The MEAC has officially paid off the mortgage on its headquarters property. They are the only football championship subdivision conference to own its own headquarters. According to Dennis E. Thomas, we are very pleased with being 100% owner of our building, valued at over $1 million. We have been very frugal in our expenses. Frugal now, and we're able to generate positive revenue. We were very fortunate not to have to assess our membership any fees in order to retire the mortgage on the building. The building is located just minutes from Norfolk International Airport. It's a one-story, 8,500 square foot building with ample parking situated in the Norfolk Commerce Park along Robin Hood Road. I think that's great. Now they don't have to pay that mortgage. That money can go back into the conference, go back into providing improvements for the conference. Perhaps adding more staff to help improve the conference as a whole. I think that's great. PP and Kels, what do y'all think about what North Carolina has done with as far as paying off their headquarters and owning it?
They laughed at me. When I first saw it, my thing was, I think we was going back and forth. I said, so it's equivalent to like paying off the church mortgage. And we kind of laughed back and forth. I was like, it kind of gives you a peace of mind because you own it. Like, I don't care what it looks like. 50 years later, you own it. It's yours. It's yours. It's yours for the keeping. So, you're done paying for it, and regardless of what it is, it's yours. So I think, again, I agree. I think it's a great thing.
Yes, PP?
Yeah, when I first saw it, I was like, the story, like, they were the only, they the only FCS conference to have their own building. So, you're talking about one of those, SWAC and MEAC, they're the smallest conferences, the smallest D1 conferences. So the MEAC to own their own headquarters, that's, like, amazing, That's something to be proud of, Maybe SWAC can get back on track and they can own their own headquarters down the line.
I think that's going to happen with Dr. McClellan as well. And I just want to announce to everybody, we're trying to get Coach Willie Slater on. We're having some technical difficulties getting Coach Slater. So if we don't get him this time, we'll definitely get him back another time so we could talk about his career, because he's had a long career. He's a second leading head coach in victories. He beat out former coach Rick Comegee. Let's see here. I have that here. He's only behind Cleve Abbott, who amassed 202 wins during his tenure. He passed Coach Comegee in 2015. So, we definitely would like to have Coach Slater on. We can get past these technical difficulties so that we can talk to him, pick his brain on how he has been able to build such a successful program at Tuskegee. Well, he continued Coach Cummings' success, but he's continued it. When you change over like that, they didn't stop. There was no drop off. Cummings had a long, successful 10-year career at Tuskegee. Coach Slater has had a successful 13-year career as a head man of Tuskegee. That's 23 years of winning, ladies and gentlemen. 23 years. That Tuskegee is a model of consistency for HBCU programs, and Coach Slater has been doing it for 13 years at Tuskegee, and I just think it's awesome to have that type of success, and definitely want to pick his brain. And if you're a aspiring football coach, you definitely want to get advice from Coach Slater on how he's been able to continually build Tuskegee into a SEAC powerhouse. But hopefully we can get him on. Like I said, we're getting close to the end of the show, and we've been trying to get him on, but been having some technical difficulties. But to continue on, some basketball news. Fort Valley State's basketball coach, Samuel Jackson, has resigned. And in the CIAA, Christina Coleman will pull double duty for Shaw. She has been named the softball and volleyball coach for Shaw, and that's going to be good financially for Shaw. They don't have to pay but one coach. And jumping over to the GCAC, we got some, of course, we talked about Edward Waters dropping his season opener to St. Andrews in women's soccer. University of Pikeville Talladega defeated Talladega 7-1. In volleyball, Florida Memorial College defeated Tuskegee 3-2. Edward Waters defeated Central State 3-1. Xavier blank University of Pikeville 3-0. Tuskegee blank Central State 3-0. Houston Tillerson University blank Talladega 3-0. And Talladega defeated Jarvis Christian College 3-1 in GCAC volleyball. So we're getting close to the end of the show, and something that me and Kels want to start doing, we're gonna start a pick'em show, to talk about our picks of the week, because football season's coming, and we want to make sure we dedicate ample time to our picking abilities, because we're gonna keep tally to see who picks right this year. I'm gonna make a spreadsheet, Kels, and when we have our guests, we're gonna get them to pick games with us, and we're gonna keep a tally on who was right, who was wrong. Kind of have some bragging rights for the season, Kels. So talk to everybody on what you think about our picking show that we're trying to develop.
So what we're talking about doing, I can't really come up with a fancy name. Just I can, but I haven't. What we're doing midweek, where we want to do a live, just off the rip, just kind of like just kind of picking the games of the week. I guess Derek will pick the top games, or we'll go according to conference. I really don't know. Of course, you can see that it's kind of just coming off the top of the dome, but we're just kind of we kind of want to go like, hey, these are the top games of the week, and we're just kind of predicting what will happen. Of course, we got to throw some upsets in there. We have to throw some predicted things in there. But yeah, that's kind of like what we're coming in with. Patrick, yeah, feel free to participate in that if you want to get in on that. Don't y'all be trying to say Valley gonna win everything now. Don't y'all try that. Don't try to double team me, because there's two of y'all though. Yeah, I definitely think I think this will be the opportunity to do so. So yeah.
So well, I mean, since we weren't able to get Coach on, we want to go ahead and run through them today.
Sure.
All
sure,
right.
we can do it.
We're gonna start out in the SWAC first. Let me get my spreadsheet up here.
So you already got your spreadsheet. Look, see, Derek already had the spreadsheet ready. He was prepared.
I don't know.
This was a just in case.
I don't know. I don't want nobody saying that Derek didn't keep tabs. So I'm gonna keep tabs on all these picks, and we're gonna talk noise, depending on who wins. So we're gonna start out first in the SWAC. All right, up first in the SWAC. Tuskegee versus Alabama State. Kels, you're the lady. You're the woman of the house.
Okay.
You go first.
I'm going to take Tuskegee. Right. Definitely being that you have a veteran coach in Coach Slater. Just out the gate all around. Also a coach that has is coming off a championship pedigree. That's also in the predictive order of finish number one in the West Division. So definitely going to take Tuskegee and the Shed. Definitely taking the Golden Tigers here.
All right. PP, who are you taking?
I'm going with Tuskegee because they seem to be in Alabama State, head over the past couple of years. It's pretty much their home stadium. So until Alabama State proves something, I'm going with Tuskegee.
All right. And we're gonna roll with Tuskegee. When we posted this, I had a few Alabama State fans that said that Coach Slater is gonna be 6-3 against Alabama State after this game because right now he sits at 6-2. Next up is Grambling, our defending SWAC champion, heading up to Lafayette to play U of L. U of L is a decent FBS squad, not overly strong. But Graham has a chance to see where they sit because Prairie View held its own with Rice, a middle of the road fledgling FBS squad, and we have Grambling, our champion, going up against a middle of the road group of 5 FBS squad. So, Kels, what do you think about this game?
I think that Grambling does have the potential to win this game, but I'm not going to go against the odds, so I'm definitely going to say ULL in this game.
All right. PP?
If they had, Kincaid and Carter, I might be tempted to go with them. But, even though Grambling's strength will be their defense, I don't think they can. It's going to be, FBS is eventually going to,
You know what?
go with the right thing.
I'm on play devil's advocate here. I'm gonna pick Grambling. Because I just think Grambling's defense is going to be too strong. You have several FBS prospects on that defense. And I just think, we know Grambling doesn't have the quarterback play that they had last year. The battle still continues between Hickenbottom and Alden Clark. But I think Coach Fobbs is going to be able to overcome ULL's depth. And Grambling's going to win. Up next, Morehouse versus UAPB. Kels?
Well, as much as I like smart, fast, and hard, as the slogan for Morehouse, I definitely got to go over here and keep it SWAC related and say it's definitely going to be Pine Bluff.
All right, PP?
Yeah, I'm going to go with Pine. Yeah, Thomas is, I guess he got a point to prove, and he came from a winning program just like Dooley did, so he's going to bring that new attitude to UAPB, and Morehouse going to just catch the brunt of it.
Well, I'm gonna choose UAPB for the sweep. Now, this big game in Atlanta, Kels, that's coming up, NCCU versus Prairie View. What's the title? What's it going to be called? I can't remember the name. What's it going to be called for that week?
The MEAC SWAC Challenge.
Okay, the MEAC SWAC Challenge. All right. So, NCCU versus Prairie View. Prairie View had a strong showing against Rice, but NCCU has been second in the MEAC the past couple of years, winning it 1 year. So, Kels, who are you taking in this game?
Yeah, it's a no-brainer here. I'm going to go ahead and hashtag this. And Dooley, we trust. We need Prairie View to bring this back home. I refuse to listen to the MEAC talk to me on Twitter for the next week. I refuse to listen to that. So I'm going to need them to do whatever they need to do to bring that back to the SWAC.
All right. PP?
Yeah, I'm going to go with Prairie View because they already have a game under their belt. They can work the kinks out of what they learned against Rice at North.
That's smart. That's true.
Central, yeah, they got a decent,
well,
they work the kinks out, but Prairie View's already played the game, so I'm going to go with Prairie View.
Well, here's the thing. Former NCCU head coach was the offensive coordinator for Rice. His replacement, Grantville Eastern, probably going to put a call in to his former boss to figure out, hey, what tips can you give me to stop Prairie View? I'm on roll with NCCU to stop the Prairie View momentum. So I'm gonna go against the trend. All right, so now we have Howard versus Ohio, led by Cam Newton's little brother, Kalen Newman. He's been an FBS killer before his true freshman season. Kels, who you taking in this matchup? Because Mike London is building a powerhouse over there at Howard.
As much as I like the Cam fam, I'm definitely gonna have to go with Ohio.
All right, PP.
Yeah, Frank Solich. I mean, unlike UNLV, Frank Solich, he's been at Ohio for 15 years or so, and they've been one of the most consistent teams in the MAC. So that FBS versus FBS is not going to happen this week. I like Pratt. I love Pratt.
Well, I'm going to roll with the sweep as well, picking Ohio. Now, Fort Valley State versus FAMU and new head coach for the Rattlers, Willie Simmons. Kels?
Wait, you said Fort Valley and FAMU? Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, definitely FAMU here. I'm taking FAMU.
PP?
Yeah, FAMU. They're going to, I mean, as much as I like German, but, you know, they're going to be a little too much. The Rattlers going to be for Fort Valley.
But the Rattlers wasn't very good last year. Fort Valley State had a pretty good team. So I'm on roll with my former Valley. I'm on roll with my former Valley quarterback, Slade Jarman. All right. We know North Carolina A&T has also a history of beating FBSs. They slayed, I guess you can say, a giant this past week. You know, even though they're on the FCS level with us, but they still look at us as lower than FCS PWIs. But they beat them. But North Carolina A&T this week plays in state for East Carolina. Kels, who you think gonna win this game?
East Carolina.
PP?
It might be a close one, but I'm still taking East Carolina.
PP,
oh man, they beat an in-state FBS team last year in Charlotte, but ECU is a little better than Charlotte. So
I agree. So you're going with ECU as well, and it's gonna be a sweep. All right, Virginia State versus Norfolk State. Kels?
Definitely taking Virginia State in this game. I think Virginia State might have been ranked 2 or somewhere, and they went in. I think they played in the championship, or won the championship. So definitely Virginia State.
All right, PP.
Yeah, I'm gonna roll with Barlow on this one. Yeah, Virginia State.
All right, up next, Bethune-Cookman versus Tennessee State. Kels?
Yeah, definitely taking Rod Reed here, Tennessee State.
All right. PP?
Me, Ekball.
I'm going to sweep it out. Also picking Tennessee State. Now, Clark Atlanta travels to Clinton, Mississippi to play Mississippi College. Kels, who you got?
Lord. Mississippi College. Come on, man. Coach Ramsey got to prove it to me this year. They got to prove it to me.
Who you got? Mississippi College or Clark?
Oh, man. Mississippi College, they kind of they're not really good in the Gulf South. So I think Clark is the better team. So I'm just going to go with Clark.
All right, and I'm going to side with my LB. I think Clark's going to come to Clinton and lead with a win. Up next, we have Miles versus Alabama A&M. Kels, who you got?
Miles, we had this debate. The girl wanted to tell me about North Carolina A&T and all this stuff. I said, well, what do you think Miles going to do this weekend against A&M? She said, I don't know. Well, I'll help you out. I think Miles is going to get the win.
All right, PP?
I'm going with A&M.
And I'm going with Miles. I just got to see what Alabama A&M has first before I can.
The Labor Day Classic.
Right. All right, 2 games left. Central State versus Elizabeth City State. Kels?
Definitely Elizabeth City State.
PP?
Central.
Man, can I abstain? Because I really don't know who to pick. I mean, Elizabeth City State brings back a young quarterback who led them all the way to the CIAA championship game. So I'm on roll with the young quarterback. I'm going to pick East Elizabeth City State. In the last game.
Well, I'm going to tell you why I didn't pick Central. Central only won one game last year. That's why I didn't pick Central.
Okay. Last game, Albany State versus Valdosta State. Am I saying that right, Kels? Is it Valdosta?
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
All right. Kels, what's your pick?
Whew. All right. So I'm going to go against the grain. I'm going to pick Albany State this year because I do believe in Coach Giordano and what they can do. They did play. Did they beat them last year?
I had to go look that up.
Go back and look at that. But it's very competitive. But I do believe in. For people that don't know, Coach Giordano did coach under Coach Nick Saban. But I do believe that they can pull this one off.
Let's see, PP, who you got?
As I said, Mississippi College is a bad Gulf South Conference team. Valdosta is a good one. So I'm going to go with Valdosta.
Okay, last year's game was canceled.
Okay.
So, Albany State, they were good within conference. Let me see. What was Valdosta State's record? You said they were good, PP?
I'm trying to see. I think Valdosta put out, I think Valdosta might have put out Virginia State. I'm not 100% sure, but Valdosta is usually good in the Gulf South Conference. Valdosta and Delta State, so.
Yeah, we know about Delta State. Got sick of them beating up on us every couple of years when we play them. Well, I'm on roll with you, PP. Kels is sticking with our HBCU brethren. I'm on roll with Valdosta State. And we're going to see who was right and who was wrong for these games. And we're going to have bragging rights. I'm going to keep the pick'em sheet up. And hopefully, we can get our show, get some good guests on. And just kind of keep this going. I think this is going to be fun. I think this is going to be something that's going to bring excitement to the football season. Definitely, get some interaction with our listeners and our fans and our SWAC brethren, our HBCU brethren as well. Because we're not just going to want SWAC people coming on to pick games. We want athletes, professors, anyone who we can get to come on and pick a few games. We're going to keep tally, and we're going to post it for everybody to see. So we're out of time. Kels, go ahead and close us out.
Well, thank you for joining us for our first show back into season 2 of this football season. As we kick off the Black College Experience, we will have to catch up with Coach Willie Slater to get him on at another time. Of course, I'm already working on next week's guest to see who's coming on, so I'll keep you posted on who that's going to be no later than Tuesday. I will be out at MEAC SWAC Challenge on next week, so I will be out in the vicinity of all of the action to see who actually pulls away with this win.
All right. And, of course, I want to dedicate anything I do in sports media to my big sister, Kiwana Thomas. Bub misses you. Rest in heaven, sis. Peace out, everybody. Catch us next week. We out of here.